Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Fratello Talks. I'm your host Nacho, and today I'm joined by my colleagues
Daan
and
Lex.
We're going to be rediscovering the topic of our favorite affordable watches. So This is volume 2. We did an episode, I believe it was a little while ago, sometime in August probably, but we're revisiting the topic with new watches. I think we'll get into it directly with wrist check. But of course, before we do that, we have a little announcement. As you heard last week, we will be doing a special 100th episode Q&A. So please be sure to leave your questions in the comments down below, whether on YouTube or the website, and we might just feature them on that episode. So let's get to our wrist check. Daan, let's start with you. What is on your wrist today?
Yes.
Is this your affordable watch pick?
Well, this is one of my affordable watch picks.
Okay.
I was on the other episode as well, and there I picked the Seiko SKX.
Oh yeah, classic.
007. But today I'm wearing my Blancpain Swatch Scuba.
Mm-hmm.
And it also stands for a category of watches, like the Moon Swatch, like maybe a Timex watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's watches around 300-400 euros. That I'll be honest, I don't wear them very often, but when I wear them, they definitely put a smile on my face. And
that's important.
They're really fun watches to wear, and that's also why I bought this one. It brings a smile to my face.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone there. I've seen so many people out and about wearing the Moon Swatch and also wearing the Blancpain 50 Fathoms, the Swatch collaboration, and people seem to really enjoy them. And talking about affordable, we should say that we wanted to I wanted to keep it under 500.
I shouldn't be saying this, but the black version.
Yeah,
it's good. Huh?
If I can,
Ocean of Storms.
If I can get my hands on it.
You should.
I'm gonna have a look tomorrow at
you're in Geneva, right?
In Geneva.
Go ask.
I really like it. I'm sorry, but
with the subtle sunburst dial, it's very nice.
It's so nice.
You should get it.
It's the best modern 50 Fathoms out there. It's incredible.
That's a hot take right there. I don't know.
It's really good.
I tried on the 42. It's pretty.
Yeah,
nifty.
that's true.
It's pretty.
No,
nifty.
that's a good one.
I couldn't afford to fall in love with it, but
I still think it's too shiny.
And
that's something you don't have with
these
bioceramic.
are really nice and matte. And
not to derail too much, but what I don't like is the engraving on the side of the case that it says Blancpain.
Yeah, but that's classic Blancpain.
It's classic, but I don't.
I
like
love
it.
that.
Swatch. Maybe you like that better.
That's for the price. I don't. I can overlook it. No, but that's a great pick. So then, Lex, we'll move on to you. Are you wearing your favorite affordable?
Yeah,
watch?
it's platinum. Oh no, it's not. Yeah,
that's what the P stands for.
Yeah, the platinum Rolex. And what does
Just
the X
say what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a Tissot PRX, the Powermatic 80, but with the light blue dial.
Very nice.
So it's sub 1,000. I think it's even sub 800.
Yeah, 7-8.
795. And
very cool. That was a watch that you went for sort of immediately after it came out. And that's not something you often do. I was actually quite surprised, but you were on it. This was really spoke to you, right?
So the first one came out, the black and blue
and two-tone.
My son has the black dialed version.
Mm-hmm.
You gave it to him.
I gave it to him. I gifted him.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was already quite impressed by that one, and he wears it often and he wears it well, and it looks good on him. And then I saw the press release of this, and I thought that I don't know, it just works.
It really does.
Yeah. I think it just works. So I immediately thought that I need to have it. And
you've had it for a little while now, and obviously as a watch journalist as we are, you wear a lot of watches, you try on a lot of watches, yet you still go back to this as an affordable watch. What is it that you love about it now that you've also owned it for, I guess, just over a year, something like that?
Yeah, maybe a little longer.
Yeah, a little longer.
1.5 years or something. First of all, I like the looks. I mean, the integrated luxury sports watch look is just a good look. And then you also look at it with the price in mind. Yes, it's a good looking watch, and yes, for 795, it also is made well enough. It doesn't have to be completely original. You don't scrutinize it as you would say a new steel integrated sports watch from
I thought that's where that was
Patek Philippe that is slightly square and
Yeah.
it looks like a Nautilus. But so this is and it still is like an original or like a retro modern take on an original.
It's inspired by an original design from way back when,
Yeah.
from the 70s, from Tissot,
Yeah,
right? It was
exactly.
a C-star
So,
model, and
yeah.
they took it and they breathed new life into it, and then gave it new
Exactly.
dial colors.
Exactly.
We've recently seen these chameleon dial versions that you had a look at as well. We've seen them spin it off with a chronograph. We've seen limited
Chronograph is
editions.
definitely not bad.
And I believe there was even a loom dialed quartz version, which was quite nice. We've seen different sizes as well.
Seen the
but it's,
Grandizer.
Grandizer as well, of course. But
But
it's,
anyway, but I think it's relatively well made. The automatic movement is fine. There are some. Okay, so the finishing could be better. Yeah,
Well,
but,
but
but everything could be better. But
it's
that's the whole thing.
executed
But
exactly
it's,
like
but
you
not
expect
at this
for this
price level.
price. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is like spot on regarding design, price, specs. It just works, and I think it also just looks nice with what you wear. I wear a lot of denim,
yeah,
so wearing a watch with a light blue dial with on a bracelet,
it's always going to match
it's-
or
it's-
going to be within the
it's
realm
just
of
not a bad
tones.
look.
No.
No,
And I see
agree.
it so often on the streets as well, like the Moon Swatch. You see
You
this
see
watch at all
quite,
the
yeah,
times,
you see quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I always think when I see someone wearing a PRX, that must be someone who is into watches.
It
So-
could be, but maybe not necessarily,
No.
right? Because if it's the quartz one, it might just be someone who's gone into the Tissot boutique or gone into a multi retail shop and thought, well, that looks great.
I
But
still
when
think
you-
it's a
when
very
you-
conscious choice.
Like
It
often,
is, yes,
often there's
yes.
a Tissot boutique at an airport
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
and this is very different from all the other watches that are
Yeah.
in the boutique
Yeah.
or in the.
It's definitely a conscious
window.
Yeah.
choice,
Yeah.
and it's like a conscious choice of like, I'm going to get myself a Swiss watch, I'm going to get myself a good watch, and
Yeah.
it's got to be under 1,000, so within what we would consider. It was what I was going to say before. We wanted to keep it maybe under 500
Yeah.
because affordable. Obviously, it's a word that's going to. There's
it's up
many
for debate
ways to
what is
define it.
affordable,
But
and what is
for the
exactly.
intents and purposes of the show, we're keeping it under 1,000. But I do think that for under 1,000, it's you get a whole lot of watch.
Yeah, the
Movement that's easy
I
to
think also
service.
the thing is with the PRX. I was in talks with my son because for his 20th birthday, I wanted to gift him a watch. Before that, I wanted to do it on his 18th, but he just wasn't into watches. So then
right.
that doesn't make any sense to gift something like that.
Did you ask him to choose a watch, or did you suggest it?
That's the story.
Okay,
So he was into watches, so I asked him, "What do you like?" So he gave me a short list of completely unaffordable watches.
AP,
and that was-
Royal Oak,
exactly.
Patek
He
Nautilus,
no, but
Girard
he,
Perregaux Laureate.
it was actually his favorite watch is the Royal Oak, is the
Okay, cool.
Jumbo.
Cool.
So I said, okay, well, and he knew he was not going to get a Royal. I said, okay, let's have a look at something that is more or less in the style.
Sure. Yeah.
And you go online and you look and blah blah blah, and I did the same. So I thought of this one, and then he comes up, he flips around the laptop, and he shows me the same watch. He shows me
Very cool.
the black dialed PRX. I said, okay, well,
There you go.
okay, there
Let's
you
do
go.
it.
Let's do it.
That's
So that was nice.
that's a bingo.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Dan,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about. Oh, I
No,
I
what
haven't
are you
done
wearing?
I haven't done
Yeah.
my wrist check. Well, that's kind of also your part in talking about your watch. I'm wearing the Arcan Ultram, which is a sort of a world timer GMT. Well, it's a GMT watch with this sort of unique solution to the GMT. It takes
Yeah.
a Miyota 9015 movement. It was before the 9075 that came out, which has the Flyer Quickset GMT. And this was, it's the work of Kenneth Lamb over in Manchester, who basically tried to solve the issue of having a GMT, but with a sort of affordable movement, and ended up coming up with this solution. It's an interesting thing where you set the time offset first. If you set the hour hand or the time backwards, the GMT hand stays in the same position. So you can set your offset in that way.
Maybe we
there's
should
no
offer
instruction
people
manual.
But
I did write one in my sort of initial.
Maybe I was do the user manual PDF and download. But maybe you can just include the.
But essentially, you just set the offset, so you can see here that this hand that they're basically pointing opposite ends. That's a 6-hour offset.
Yeah.
Right. So you could do 8 hours, whatever, and then you set it to the time. So when you set it forward, those hands hold their position, and then you have the time zone difference. And then the final trick that it has, or one of the tricks that it has, is that it also has a night-day indicator.
That's good.
So that shows that here the GMT hand is showing 5 a.m. 6 hours away, so New York time, and it's just beginning to show that the morning is starting over in the States. So it's also quite a handy thing when setting the offset. It kind of shows you if it's one way or the other. So that's quite nice. And then it has this little screw down pusher for setting the date.
Oh, cool.
Because the crown doesn't have any date setting capabilities, and when you're setting the time zone, sometimes then it's nice to just click through without any issues, and it screws down to provide 200 meters of water resistance.
Very, very clever watch.
It's very clever. It's
also
it's
the shape is quite clever.
Yeah. I like it. It's got this very organic type shape. It's obviously there's some inspiration from a certain Vacheron Constantin overseas GMT Everest.
Maybe.
You know what I also think of when I see this? Oakley watches.
Oakley watches, maybe a little bit of Ike Pod as well to some degree, but
a bit of the organic. There's also a touch of Abel.
Okay, yeah, I can see that
a hint,
a little bit,
not a touch, a hint,
sprinkle of Abel.
The strap is very narrow, no?
Yeah, the strap has a good taper, to it. I think here around the lugs it's around like 20 millimeters, but obviously it's integrated, and the brand also sells an adapter where you can fit an 18 millimeter strap or a NATO strap as well.
What is the price of this critter?
So this is 600 Great British pounds, and so that means it's around 700. No, it's not that bad yet, but it's around 720 euros.
That's a whole other watch.
Yeah, for
a unique
for
look.
the price, exactly. And for those listening now, as this episode comes out, there is to be a restock of these watches on the Arkin website. So they were available, I believe, last year around the summer. That's when I placed my pre-order. I think that the blue model. So there's a model that has a black dial and a blue GMT hand. That was restocked at some point earlier this year, and now this orange and gray model will be restocked, sort of towards the end of the year, I believe, end of this month or sometime in November. So keep an eye out for that if it's something you're interested in. But yeah, I really like it. It's nice and lightweight, titanium, fully brushed. It's right in my wheelhouse when it comes to watches. It's an interesting solution for the GMT,
definitely.
And yeah, it also has that little bit of a touch of a watch that I will most likely never be able to own, because it was a very limited edition. They flew off the shelf, and now every time they pop up for sale, it's at pretty high prices, and they're rare and far between. So this is my way of kind of appreciating that watch, but also very much a fan of what Kenneth is doing with the brand. And,
it also sparks a question. If we look for affordable watches, do we look for watches that punch above their weight, so to speak? Because this kind of has the whole Nautilus Royal Oak vibe.
Yeah.
This to you reminds me a little bit of that overseas, the travel, titanium
the Everest,
limited, the Everest thing.
Just let you wear a Blancpain at 400 euros.
That, of course, is that a thing when we're looking for affordable?
I think so. I think, and I think a lot of the time that affordable watches tend to punch above their weight. I think it.
But also, do they also, because they also mimic more expensive aspirational models?
But I'm not sure, because this is not for me, this plastic or bioceramic Blancpain is not a placeholder for I don't think I would want to own the actual steel Blancpain 50 Fathoms.
Yeah,
but still, and I also think it looks more fun and in this.
That is
material,
definitely more its own thing because of color and material than this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm quite sure that also people wear a PRX because they might, if they had, like my son, if he had choice, he would wear the Royal Oak, but he has to make do with a PRX, which he likes. But
I also think that for most people, you look at a watch and there's much more of like a vacuum going on. Maybe the usual high street buyer who walks by a shop that has PRXs in the window, they might have seen in a magazine an ad for a Royal Oak or Nautilus or whatever. But I don't think that, like, if they would see that watch, if they saw a Royal Oak or a Nautilus or whatever, a Laureato in the window of a store, they would also see potentially a price or a price on request, walk in, get told the price, and then very quickly walk out of the boutique and think, oh my God, for a watch, really? And then when it comes to the PRX, it's a little bit more like, you're buying yourself something, but you're still, like, most normal people won't feel that comfortable spending even this much on a watch.
I know.
So I think that it certainly punches above their weight. And then for the enthusiast who knows, it is also a way to, I think there's nothing wrong with, like, trying out the concept, trying out the form of the steel sports integrated watch without necessarily having to break the bank and go for the creme de la creme. Like, maybe you buy this and then many years down the line you go, yeah, well, actually this really does do it for me. This is really what I love. And then you maybe go for something a little bit more in the higher end range, right? I mean, but yeah, I think that is kind of a thing that comes with typically sort of affordable watches. I could think of a couple that really sort of do their own thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking of my Timor, the little field watch, the 37 millimeter. That's just what it is.
Well, I was going to say the Hamilton khaki field, right? That's
that's
also just
that's
its own thing. It was built for the U.S. Army during World War I, World War II, and that is just the watch that it's been for a very long time. It's had slight changes happen, but it's just the field watch, and the Hamilton khaki looks like what it is, and that's it. And same with, like, say, like a G-Shock. A G-Shock is an affordable watch.
Definitely.
And it just does what it does. It does it really well, and it's its own thing, and it doesn't have to try and be, you're not saying like or like the Hamilton in Traumatic is not trying to be a Gerard Perregaux casquette, right? It's its own thing entirely, right? Yes, they have a button that you press and the numerals come up, but
no, but I think I think a G-Shock is an excellent, example. That is what it is, and
whereas you could say, like, the SKX or any dive watch that has, like, a black dial and a black bezel and anything, there is always a callback to the originals. There is always a bit of a callback to the 50 Fathoms, to the Rolex Submariner, of course. But that's also because form follows function. So in a way, it can't really look too different. While still remaining in an affordable price category, but but it is interesting that what you say about having this watch not necessarily making you want the real Blancpain.
Oh.
I think a lot of people there just go into the Swatch boutique. They see this. Perhaps they know what it looks like. Perhaps they don't. But it still stands.
I think
stands on its own.
But maybe the idea behind it is to get people wanting a 50 Fathoms. I mean,
perhaps
if you see the effect the Moon Swatch had on Speedmaster sales, that was a nice side effect. I don't know if it was a side effect or was it actually did they actually think, okay, if we're gonna sell the bioceramic version, it will also boost sales of our Speedmaster.
It planted little.
We will never know, I guess.
Yeah. No. It planted little seeds of Speedmaster in people's heads, and even if you own that watch, if you get it as a teenager, or as a kid, or whatever, and you have that watch, and obviously, €250, and this is, I believe, like 450, 500. It is we're talking some amount of money for what it is, but at the same time, it does give you that potential association for a future buyer, right? Like, perhaps these people grow up and they become successful, and at some point they think, oh, I really loved that Moon Swatch I had. I'm going to buy the real Omega.
The amount of Moon Swatches I saw during my vacation in Portugal this summer, it was I think it was a lot of people who have very serious watches at home. And then just wear them as a vacation watch.
And that's also the thing, right? That's one advantage of these affordable watches, is that you can kind of wear them a little bit more under the radar. And if you have something that's a little bit more expensive and you're going on holiday, you perhaps leave that one at home and then let the knocks that a watch might take while you're out and about on holiday be taken by another one, right? It's
but they're also really nice because you might have some more expensive pieces in your collection. You cannot buy everything at such a high price.
No.
It's really nice that there are watches that maybe look like more expensive watches or give you the feeling that you're wearing a more expensive watch.
Yeah. What
So
I
you
also
can still enjoy it.
what is also nice about affordable watches is that it kind of or more is it also kind of for journalists it keeps you a little bit humble because you get so much. We see so much that is unobtainable and just way beyond our mortal price, our budgets.
You'll never own a Cubitus, Lex. And you just have to make peace with it, right? And just...
Why do you have to
Sorry, that was... I really put that right in your path.
Blow.
But you're right. It's true that
Yeah,
it's also interesting to be able to see those unobtainable watches.
There is also something charming and friendly and warm and nice about a watch with a somewhat sympathetic price with a nice little details. And yes, you can understand where they cut a few corners, but that's okay.
Yeah.
As
long as the price makes sense, right?
Yeah, there's also something human about it.
Yeah.
That's also maybe what I like about it, about a watch that is affordable, and of course, affordable is.
Yeah, it
debatable
always
thing,
changes.
but
Here we're
I
keeping
think
it
this
under
is a
1,000,
very
but-
sympathetic watch.
Yeah.
For all the right reasons.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's for me the Arcan also becomes a watch that I know it's perfectly capable, but at the same time, you don't have to sweat it. Like it'll probably, we were talking before, I have a little trip at the end of the year to India for a few weeks, and this will be the watch that I'll be taking
It's
with
the
me.
George Harrison sitar course
clinic.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
Nice.
I'll be a sitar master when I return. I'll also have found Nirvana, hopefully. Yeah, I heard they've been missing. We know where Dave Grohl is. I think the bass player.
I was not going.
Bass player was the mayor of Portland or something. No, he was in politics
Somewhere
in the west coast of the U.S. The other one's missing. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't think he actually did what people say he did, but I think he's somewhere in India.
Yeah.
I'll go find him. And spiritual peace as well. No, but this will be the watch that I'll take with me because it's perfectly capable, but it also, you feel
You're
like
not going to a half-hour time zone.
it is a
Because
half-hour time zone.
Really?
It is. India's 5.5 hours difference from our
Yeah.
time zone
Then
here,
it's gonna be
which
difficult.
means with this one, because you set it, it's
Here we go.
completely
You can-
granular.
Yeah.
You can set it to a half an hour offset.
Wow.
So
That's
it is also
awesome.
it's also absolutely in a very niche way
India proof.
completely perfect for that trip.
Wow.
Absolutely. There we go. So it's also sometimes less is more because this you could get a very expensive GMT that
And you get
that
more for
has
less.
yeah. Well, anyway, it's a
I think
happy
that's in the
coincidence, but
Bhagavad-
at the same time,
what's it called? Bhagavad Gita. What is it? You have to. No, never mind. Let's.
I don't know.
There.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
no. But I think that these are three solid picks for affordable watches, and thank you guys for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Let's
I have a practical question
Sure.
for Daan
Oh.
regarding the.
Uh-oh.
Is the lug width is a bit odd, right?
Yes. So I think it's 21 something.
0.34875.
Yeah. And you
Recurring.
also need these special
little hex keys, right?
Hex
Allen
keys.
keys.
Oh, these very
to,
very tiny.
very tiny ones. But yeah, that's also the reason I don't wear it on any other strap than the original strap. The original strap
Yeah.
is nice, but it just does make it a little bit more bulky than it
Yeah.
already is.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah,
just a practical
might,
question. If I might bump into the sea of storms.
but
You're definitely coming back
the-
from Switzerland with one of those.
If
aren't you?
they,
I've seen a lot of rubber straps being offered in this size, and they usually come with, they're specifically made for them for this
Yeah.
watch,
Ah,
and then
okay.
they come with the
the little tool.
little hex
required.
tools.
Interesting.
So you
Good
don't have
to
to worry
know.
about it at all.
Yeah, but that's what I do. I worry.
yeah.
I
And in
worry.
this day and age, there's
When it
probably
comes-
many a YouTube tutorial out there.
Exactly,
So
yes.
you'll figure it out, Lex. We'll help you out if you need a strap change.
Thank you.
Just come to us.
Thank you.
We'll help you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Let's get to our comment of the
Absolutely.
week
Let's
here,
go
which
to the
comes from username @amplitude problem. Lex,
Oh.
you quite like that name. Maybe needs a service.
Sir, you need a service.
You need a service. And he says,
Or a blue pill.
referring again to our Watch Humor podcast, he says, the Speedmaster Professional had balls decades before the Panerai did the Casimir. And it's true. Just look at 12 o'clock. You'll see what Mr. Amplitude Problem is talking about there. Perfect. Hey, well, thanks, guys, for the discussion on these affordable watches. And, of course, another little reminder to our audience to leave your Q&A episode questions in the comments down below. And let us know also what your favorite affordable watch is or watches are. And, as always, tune in next week for another episode of Fratello Talks. See you then.